They might have similar levels of fame, maybe similar levels of Instagram followers, but normal celebrities and trained fighters could not be any more different. So when some singers or actors find themselves in a feud with a lifelong martial artist, if things get physical, it's only ever going to go one way. And while thankfully a lot of these beef were squashed before it came to that, it doesn't make their existence any less strange. These are 10 UFC fighters that had beef with celebrities. Conor McGregor. There was a point in time where it seemed like Conor McGregor was in the headlines each and every week for some reason, especially after his $100 million payday showdown against Floyd Mayweather. But then that period of constant controversy slowed down, as McGregor's focus shifted back to fighting. However, in 2021, he was up to his old tricks once again when he found himself in a very public altercation with the rapper Machine Gun Kelly. Seriously, it was a very strange news story to read at the time, but according to onlookers, the pair exchanged words on the red carpet at the MTV Awards before Conor then seemingly lunged at the musician, missing with a punch before security intervened. Not much else is known about why things kicked off, but the pair played the incident down in interviews that followed. No charges were pressed by Kelly, but as you would expect, the media had an absolute field day with the story, which on second thought might have been McGregor's intention all along. As two of the most recognizable faces in today's pop culture, this was truly a crazy turn of events, but we all know who would have won had it gotten out of hand. Nate Diaz. Okay, this next one was definitely blown out of proportion by the media, but the short-lived beef between UFC lightweight and welterweight superstar Nate Diaz and one of the world's most influential pop singers Justin Bieber was truly a head-scratcher. It originally kicked off when Bieber took aim at Diaz after he submitted Conor McGregor in the second round of their UFC 196 matchup, calling Conor the superior fighter even if he did lose the contest. Diaz, who wasn't too bothered either way by the comments, shared a meme that someone posted to him that showed him slapping a caricature of Bieber. Naturally, the media ate it up and created a beef that didn't really actually matter to either party. And when Nate was asked about it during an appearance on Conan, he played it off as nothing too significant. But prior to that, the general public actually believed that Nate had it out for the pop star. According to Diaz, the two were in the same nightclub shortly after, and the mood in the club seemed to suggest that people were waiting for a fight to break out. Thankfully it didn't, and overall, it seems though the Stockton legend is pretty cool with Justin, all things considered.
He put his opinion out, and I heard about it, and I was like, whatever. But then someone posted on social media a picture
of you slapping him.
Of me slapping
Yeah,
him.
take a look at this.
But yeah, I saw that, and that was really funny to me, so I posted the picture.
Yeah.
And it went viral. Everybody saw it. Everybody was all about it. And then it was crazy, because I was out here in LA, and I went to a club, and like 4 days later, and then everybody's coming up to me in the club like, hey, Justin Bieber's over there. He's over there in the corner. Like, and people were coming up to me like, hey, what's up? You know, Justin's here. And I'm like there was this big fight supposed to go down with me and Justin.
Yeah. I wonder how that fight would have gone.
Colby Covington. At this stage, is it fair to simply call Joe Rogan a celebrity? Well, in our book, he qualifies for position on this list due to the fact that he's not a UFC fighter. And for Colby Covington, he saw Joe Rogan as the perfect target, the ideal combination of fame and platform for him to take a shot at. Rogan was critical of Colby when the UFC welterweight started going on the offensive as far as his former roommate John Jones was concerned, saying that someday Colby was going to have to come face-to-face with the light heavyweight. Covington, in response, said that he was going to slap Rogan the next time he saw him. And though Rogan laughed it off and jokingly pleaded with Chaos to let it go, the headlines were dominated by this beef for more time than you'd think. By all accounts, though, these two have a good relationship these days.
Yeah, that's kind of why the beef started with Joe Rogan. You know, his little mouth was trying to run, you know, and say things when he shouldn't have an opinion, dude. You've never been in an octagon. You don't have any experience fighting. Just because you do these little Taekwondo tournaments and you can't even get first place in those doesn't mean you can come talk to the King of Chaos, a.k.a. the new welterweight king on June 9th. You know, he's a biased announcer as it is. He's so hyped up on whoever, you know, if it's John Jones fighting, you know, his balls are so far in his mouth that he's just going to be saying that anything John does, oh my God, he's the greatest of all time.
Matt Brown. The UFC welterweight veteran Matt Brown is not the first name that comes to mind when you think of the legendary West Coast rapper Snoop Dogg. But during the aftermath of the infamous boxing matchup between McGregor and Floyd Mayweather, a video surfaced that showed Snoop mocking Conor for his loss. As you might expect, this did not go down well with the MMA community, with many calling out Snoop Dogg for disrespecting professional fighters. It was around this time as well that a lot of fans were lashing out at Snoop for his commentary on the UFC's Dana White's Contender Series. Overall, his over-the-top analysis on what was going on just came across as extremely ignorant to most. The loudest voice of the lot came in the form of the fan favorite Matt Brown, who, during an appearance on the Joe Rogan Experience, told Rogan that Snoop was a piece of shit, and that he would happily punch him in the face if he ever met him. And if you know anything about Matt Brown, you'll know that he's not one to make idle threats. An absolute savage in the cage, and a fighter that Snoop would do well to avoid.
Snoop Dogg, that piece of shit.
Do you know?
I'll call him out.
What don't you like about Snoop Dogg?
He called Conor.
Oh,
Mary called him a
yeah,
bitch.
That was a mess.
No,
That was a mess.
that's
After
not
the
cool,
Floyd
man.
Mayweather fight, that was a mess. I think he was fucked up.
I don't care.
Yeah.
You know, he put it on public. He could have, you know, apologized, deleted, whatever. You know.
Yeah.
If I go to the UFC PI, I might just punch him if I see him there.
Whoa.
I'm cool with that.
We don't know if the beef has been settled or not, but as of right now, the Immortal has not yet had the chance to get his hands on Snoop Dogg. Randy Couture. There was a very strange period in MMA where Steven Seagal was a real presence in the sport. His coaching of Anderson Silva and Lyoto Machida led to 2 iconic front kick KOs in the space of just 3 months. And though the techniques used vary between the two, Seagal was more than willing to take all the credit, saying that he had worked hard with both fighters to perfect the technique. A coincidence? Probably. But one man who was not overly impressed by Seagal's desire to be in the spotlight was the man who had fallen victim to Machida's crane kick, Randy Couture. There was even a challenge in place for a fight, with the Aikido black belt Seagal, who was 60 years old at the time, putting the stipulation in there that the fight had to take place behind closed doors with no witnesses. Of course, Randy never bothered to take him up on that. But let's be real, in one corner you had a film star whose own fighting prowess was very questionable, and in the other, a 5-time UFC champion across 2 different weight classes, who had a career on the back of his ability to dish out punishment to world-class fighters. You do the math. Remember, if you're enjoying our content and want to see more, be sure to leave a like before subscribing to the channel so you don't miss any of our weekly uploads. Dana White. Okay, sure, Dana White is not a UFC fighter, but we really couldn't make this list without getting into the time that the UFC president made his distaste for Justin Timberlake very, very clear. Yes, you read that correctly. White, as it happens, was left pretty sour about the legendary pop vocalist when they briefly met at the Nickelodeon Awards in 2013. Dana, who was there alongside his wife and kids, was hoping that he could get a moment of Timberlake's time so his kids could meet the global superstar. However, according to Dana, Justin refused in a manner that he deemed to be rude. So instead of taking his anger and complaining about JT to his friends and his coworkers, Dana did the most Dana thing imaginable and brought it up during a feature he was doing with Sports Illustrated, elevating the beef to a global audience. White told SI that he was not a fan of Timberlake's and that his only 2 seconds to say hello, and his actions truly did not reflect well on him. However, this beef was pretty much resolved when Justin rang Dana privately to apologize and explain the situation. Dana tweeted a message of thanks to the pop star, and from there, the conflict was seemingly put to bed. Andrei Arlovski. A UFC heavyweight champion and a real-life gladiator? Who wouldn't want to see that? Well, Andrei Arlovski supposedly tried to meet the legendary actor Russell Crowe at an event one time, telling him he was a huge fan of his, only to be pushed away by a member of his security. If only that dude knew just who he had been pushing. But according to the former heavyweight champ, the pair nearly got into a fight because of it, although the situation was quickly resolved. However, in Arlovski's own words, he is no longer a fan of Russell Crowe, and if we had to guess, it looks like this hulking heavyweight was genuinely disappointed by the whole thing. Don't meet your heroes, I guess. Cody Garbrandt. Cody Garbrandt and Jean-Claude Van Damme are not 2 names you'd expect to have some real history, but when the legendary movie star came to visit Team Alpha Male in Sacramento a few years back, things quickly turned sour. Now, we're not really sure what to make of this one, but according to Cody, Van Damme and him were sparring lightly when the action star fired off one of his signature kicks, catching No Love off guard and landing on his teeth. This seemed to really anger Cody, who told his coaches to get Jean-Claude away from him before he retaliated. Now, the video in question shows that this was a pretty quick but unquestionably light shot, but judging by the fact that Garbrandt spoke about his anger at Van Damme in a later interview, it doesn't seem like this duo has had the chance to patch things up. Conor McGregor. We really could have taken things further and made a whole list of interactions between Conor McGregor and celebrities, but for our money, this early beef with P. Diddy is just too strange to leave off. After a chance meeting at a college football game in 2013, when Conor was a virtual unknown, McGregor spoke on an Irish chat show about how he was unimpressed with the rapper, saying that he was a little up his own ass. Diddy, as you might expect, did not reply. But years later, as McGregor became a global superstar, he was among the most vocal supporters of Conor's rival, Floyd Mayweather, ahead of their boxing bout, publicly stating that he hoped McGregor was on the receiving end of a brutal KO. Maybe it was more of a show to support Floyd than anything else, but if you ask us, we think there's more to it. Ronda Rousey. Another fighter who has had ties to Justin Bieber, this time with some actual contempt boiling beneath, is the former UFC bantamweight queen Ronda Rousey. Rousey was attending an event with her sister when all of a sudden, the younger Rousey noticed that Justin Bieber was there. After trying to get a picture with him, Bieber very rudely said that he had already taken $1 billion that day before walking away. When Rousey publicly complained about the incident, Bieber made a very quick apology. However, when Ronda lost to Holly Holm and Amanda Nunes, it's important to point out that Justin was extremely quick to take shots through his official Twitter page, reacting live to both defeats with some real joy. Is Justin Bieber really such a huge fan of Holly Holm and Nunes, or is he just being petty? We'll let you decide.
I walked over there, I said, "Excuse me," and he turned to me, goes, "I've already taken 1 billion pictures today, okay?" And I said, "Yeah, but," because it's the only 16-year-old girl at the whole party, you know? I only got, "Yeah, but," out, and he goes, 1 billion, and walks off and totally snubbed my little sister. And then she looks at me, and she's like on the verge of tears, and she goes, "I'm no longer a believer."
And that will just about do it for this video. Again, if you enjoyed today's video and want to see more, be sure to leave a like and a comment before subscribing to the channel so you can stay up to date with all of our latest uploads. Thanks for watching.